I'll do it. Welcome to Amusing Minds. I'm Rodney. He's Ben, and we're gonna have a good conversation.
That's what we do. Good conversations.
uh,
I look forward to it every week. And I mean that
yeah.
sincerely, not sarcastically.
Oh. Yeah. No. I love it. It's a good time to kind of just talk about some random stuff, find out some stuff, see what's going on in the world, in your world. What was that? What was
um
that thing you sent me? Men start podcasts so they can go on dates.
yeah, yeah. I
Oh,
hey, I like going on dates with you, Rodney. You're a good cheap date.
dang right. Same. Well,
I don't even have to buy
sometimes
you
you're a little
drinks.
expensive. Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh man, I could use a drink. Oh, huh. No, man. So actually, like on that note, uh, to kind of start a conversation for today, I was thinking about this, and so like today, I had a pretty normal day. Everything's chill, like nothing bad. And I don't know if it was because I didn't eat or what, but man, I got home and like I just didn't want to get out of my car. Like,
Yeah.
and it's like, but like nothing was wrong. And I think it's because I ate a small lunch. so, so because I got after I got dinner, it's like okay, cool. I feel a little bit better. So
hmm
the conversation there, I wonder, is like how much your food and what you eat affects your mood. You know?
Man. Yeah, this is there's a rabbit hole that you can go down with this in particular. There's oh man. Um Yeah, I guess, man. Recent experience for me. I've been doing a lot more physical labor recently, working on building my workshop out to be ready for putting wood, doing wood construction, getting ready for drywall installation, all that stuff, and I started adding a third meal to my day because it was hard to get through all that without taking another break and eating. And of course, it's been like crazy hot, very humid. I'm sweating, buckets and trying to drink as much water as possible. But there was nothing in there that really like affected my mood. Really, it was just, hey, I need more fuel than usual. But after I was done for a work weekend and I tried to get back into my normal routine of, okay, I eat once after I get up and then I eat again in the evening after my work day, and about middle of the day my stomach is grumbling and my body is just like, hey, you fed me 3 times the other day. We need to keep this up. This is nice. And if you don't do it, you're gonna be sad.
Yeah.
And I was like, ah, come on. So I've tried to find ways to sort of take care of that feeling of hunger without taking in a bunch of calories. Like I bought a jar of snacking pickles, which are like 0 calorie snack, or just drink a bunch of water to kind of help push that off. And sometimes that doesn't work, and I just need to eat some chips because I want that salty crunchiness that a
Yeah.
pickle doesn't solve. Um, yeah. So that's a recent experience with me, and like changes in food and how that could affect your mood or behavior for a day.
Yeah, and then you kind of think about like what people like. So me and you are relatively average health guys, like right? We're we're in okay shape, but you think about how little it that we're okay. Okay, we'll take
I
a
appreciate you
we
calling it
average
okay
out.
shape. I mean, I am a shape. Yeah, it's not a pleasant shape, but it's a shape.
You're average. Uh but like that's so in that though, you take that into consideration and how much it can affect us, and then you kind of think about like how bigger people or smaller people might be affected by that, and like how much does that play into that, you know? Like
Yeah,
it's just crazy to think about. Like that's another one of those things, like it's on the food, but just like I try really hard to put myself in other people's shoes to kind of have some sympathy or empathy for like their situations. So whenever I have stuff like this, it like gives me pause and goes, "Hmm," you know,
You have to remind yourself that you are not a machine, and you are instead a human who might be affected by environmental factors, or and has a brain that can hold back the happy chemicals and give you the sad, just because it our brains literally have all the tools necessary to make us happy all the time, and yet it holds that shit hostage for no reason other than, well, you didn't eat the right
yeah,
thing today, so no dopamine for you. You didn't get a hug
you know,
today, so no serotonin for you. Like, it's just reactionary instead of like, no, just fucking give up the drugs, man.
yeah, give me the drugs. Uh, which is probably, I mean, that's shit. That's what leads to people having addictions. Like, oh,
Hmm.
you know, some people
Yeah,
handle it
if
better
you
than
found a
others.
quick fix, yeah, if you found like a quick fix to get the same good feelings all the time, like, wouldn't you do that? You know, and for those people that are disabled or neurodivergent, they get store-bought chemicals, which is also totally valid because their brain is uh not just holding hostage, but like out of stock. Like, I don't have this, it's not here. Can you like put some in your body, and then I'll use it?
Right. Yeah, that's the crazy part because that some of that stuff, it's just like it's externally, it's hard to see, it's hard to know, like you never know how somebody else is like really feeling or what they're going through. So like you can only best guess and you only can compare it to your experiences,
Hmm.
which is tough sometimes. I think what's funny is I bet it's harder for people who haven't have better like regulate like somebody who's healthy, grew up in a good home, hasn't had to face any of that. Like, I could see why it would be more difficult to empathize because they wouldn't know. They would have never experienced any of that. Huh.
Right.
Kind of a blessing and a curse if you think about it.
Yeah, I suppose so. Has this happened to you before, like, ever, or was this just something that is on your mind because it just happened today?
Oh, I mean, yeah, yeah, it's happened before, but it's definitely it's on my mind today because it happened today. And like I was
Right.
thinking about it, I'm like, why am I moody? And I was like, oh, it's
Hmm.
because I haven't eaten enough today. I think like that was my guess, right? That was my like best guess is like I didn't eat breakfast. I had like a coffee, and then like I ate a bag of tuna for lunch. Like,
Oh,
and
yeah, that's
I'm
not
and
much.
I'm like, yeah, I'm like 240 pounds. There's some muscle in there, but like that's a lot of weight, and that's a like for somebody who does a lot of calories normally, a bag of 120 calories of tuna and a coffee ain't gonna cut it.
No,
Like,
no,
yeah,
and it's not just about metabolizing, energy. I mean, that's a factor, and that I do believe that you take in more calories, then your body has the energy to keep your brain functioning and keep it moving so that you can do stuff and feel stuff and process. Um, but then there's also, do you know much about the brain gut connection thing?
I've heard of some of it. Like, there is a certain level of importance to it, but
Yeah.
not crazy.
Well, the gut brain connection, or gut brain axis, is the bidirectional communication pathway between the central nervous system and the enteric nervous system, which is your nervous system of your gut. And
Doing a quick
they
Google
think
in
that
there, yeah.
yes, yes, I'm providing our audience with information that they could look up themselves, but it'll give us more to talk about. Research suggests that the gut microbiome plays a significant role in mental health, with imbalances potentially contributing to anxiety, depression, or other conditions. Um, Stress. Stress can affect digestion. I know this personally. Um, when I get really stressed out, then I can have gut issues, and it, because your body's like dumping all that stress hormone, and yeah, it could definitely affect how you're digesting. Also says a large portion of the body's serotonin is produced in the gut. So serotonin starts in your gut and then goes up to your brain. So what you eat and how you take care of your gut microbiome could affect serotonin levels, which also includes your food choices. So yeah, that's kind of a very brief a brief overview of some of the connections that have been researched about your brain and your gut being connected.
So you're saying our meat sack in our skull gets pissed off if our meat sack in our stomach doesn't have the right stuff in it?
Uh-huh. Yes, what I'm saying is our body is a chemical processing plant, and we we ingest a bunch of complex materials that our body then breaks down into simple materials that it can use in its various processes. And if we don't put the right stuff in, or we don't put in anything at all, then those processes are lacking, which can affect our mood, our motivation, yeah, all that stuff.
I like my caveman version. Meat
Yeah.
sack happy, me happy. Meat sack not happy, me not happy.
I mean, yeah.
That
What?
goes multiple over for guys. All my sacks are happy. I'm happy.
Oh, wow.
Ah, sorry. Ben's like, I'm trying to educate and have a relatively serious conversation, Rodney, and you're over here talking about meat sacks.
It's okay. You can talk about your meat sack to everyone out there on the internet if you're comfortable doing that. We're gonna have to put a content warning up on the description of the video. Warning: talk of meat sacks.
Yeah. Oh God, it's so good. I'm so stupid. My brain's putting together shirts right now.
Oh
Happy
boy.
meat sack.
It made me think of
Negative.
the other saying that I've heard is a meat sack piloting a bone mech.
Oh yeah. So then you take it a level further. You are energy particles inside of a meat sack piling a bone mech.
Oh man. I mean, we are just a
Yeah.
collection of chemical reactions, right?
Uh-huh. Well, maybe.
Maybe.
Probably.
I mean, probably.
So here's the
That's the
thing. The
thing that we know
maybe
for sure, is that there's a bunch of chemical reactions going on.
I'm gonna reach over here
Hmm.
because this book, I don't know
Oh
if you've
boy.
ever read this one before. The Untethered Soul.
No, tell me about it.
Oh man. So this is what is it? Michael Singer. This is kind of like a hey, like get in your own brain kind of book. But one of the things, like one of the first things, the earliest things in this book, I think it's early because I like audiobooked it and I have the physical. But it talks about how like part of it goes, hey, stop for a second. Now close your mouth and think about the words you're hearing on this page. And then it's like you're hearing the voice talk to you, right? Okay, so who's talking? And then if it's you talking, who's listening? And it's all going on inside your head. So who really are you? Like, and you're like, hold on, screw you, existential crisis right now, because I'm reading out loud, but I'm not saying words. So who is talking and who is listening? And how are they listening inside of my head, out like when my ears on the outside? Like, yeah. So,
Yeah, that's some crazy philosophical stuff, man.
great. It's a great book, by the way. It is a
I
great
mean,
book.
wouldn't it be awesome if there was like a CT scan or an MRI study of like, okay, you're in the scanner now, talk to yourself without using your mouth, like think something and talk to
Ooh,
yourself about something
I bet
and
they've
see
done
what
that.
lights up. Is
I bet they've
is
done
your
that.
I bet it's out there somewhere. Maybe somebody can find it and let us know in the comments.
Ooh, that's a good one.
But
Yeah.
is it, the question is it something where one part of your brain is doing the talking and then there's a different part of your brain doing the listening, and your brain is more like an emulator where it's pretending that it's talking and listening And it really is just talking, listening to itself, just different areas of the brain where you would normally be listening and processing data versus where you are, putting data out and and creating thoughts. Maybe it's just two different areas, and it's just they're talking back and forth.
Yeah, or it is like another entity, and it's just like you're two different entities, like working together, operating this programmed body. Like that's there. Oh man, dude, there's so many levels of that. That could be the soul. That could be the program. Like we could be in a simulation, and that's why it feels that way. But even if we weren't in the simulation, then how would it process? How do we think? What does all of that even mean?
I
Why,
mean,
when I close my eyes, I can still see pictures?
uh, Pixar would have us believe that we have like 6 or 7 little entities running around in our brain, you know, controlling us for the different emotions.
I mean, they might be on to something. I'm just saying, they might be on to something. It
I
might
mean,
be a bunch of
there's
little aliens.
there is a thread to pull on here. When you are in a particular emotional state, sometimes people refer to you as a different person. Like, oh, you're such a different person when you're angry. Oh, you're such a different person when you're sad. You know? So are you? Are you a different person? Or are you, but the sadness is separate from you? Or are you a different person depending on your state?
Dude, then so it I'm gonna go boom, but follow
Okay.
me here because it's
Yep.
it's in line with that. I've been watching Solo Leveling and I'm really on this like power kick right now or whatever. But you saying this, it's so I'm like, it'd be crazy dope with this is if you had a superhero that was like either schizo or highly like strong emotions, and whatever emotional state they were in, they had a different power.
I bet that exists somewhere.
It's
Um,
got to.
Now you haven't seen Thunderbolts yet, have you?
I have. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
because
I mean,
Sentry falls
that's
into
like a
that a little bit.
one.
It's it
Yeah,
it's a duo. It's not a multitude like what you're thinking. You know,
yeah.
Moon Knight gets close to what you're saying
Also
because but
schizo, but he's a duo again. It's either on or
no,
off.
no.
Well, no, he has.
There's multiples.
I
There's
guess he
not just
doesn't have
Mark Spector.
multiples.
Yeah.
Yeah, but but only one of them has superpowers.
No, technically all three of them that were shown in the live action show, all three of them have the ability to access the powers.
Right, but only one of them's like uses it.
In the
I thought
live
that I
action
gotta
show,
watch that again.
in the live action show, 2 of the 3 use the powers
I
because
thought that
there's
one
Mark
of them
Spector
was
Moon
like a.
Knight, and then
I thought he
there's
was like a badass agent. Like there was like an agent version, the superpower version, and then the wimpy one.
the wimpy one still had powers, and because he became what's called Mr. Knight, and he's in the business suit
Uh
looking thing, and he still had
okay, yeah,
strength
yeah,
and
yeah.
speed and different weapons
Actually,
and abilities, but it still
yeah.
falls under he's different people all with powers.
Yeah. Hey, we discovered Moon Knight.
Yeah. It
I
doesn't
mean,
have to do
yeah,
with emotional
actually,
state because it's dissociative
I,
identity, not the
yeah,
same thing as what you're saying, but pretty close.
pretty close. I gotta go back and watch it now because, like, I think what it was is he didn't really tap into those powers until much later, though. That's what it was because most of it wasn't it him basically trying to figure it out.
Yeah. I think it was about halfway through the season that Mr. Knight finally showed up.
Right.
And
If
then
that.
we don't get the third personality, Jake, until the very end. Even though he's
Yeah,
kind of
okay.
present, we hadn't seen him or what he was doing until we saw him at the end.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Same thing. Same. Although I think it would be really cool, yeah, to have like a person that like genuinely changed, like their whole thing. Like it's one body, but like depending on the situation, it like even the body morphs. Oh, that'd be so
Mhm.
hard. Yeah.
Let's take this one step further. and go the route of like the boys, right? So in the boys, powers
Ooh,
sometimes
okay.
have weird sources or weird ways that they manifest, right? Um,
Yeah.
what if we take the initial concept of the gut brain connection, and depending on the food that the hero eats will determine
Oh,
his mood, which then makes him into a different person with a different power set.
huh. I kind of, which is crazy because, like, yes, but I kind of feel like my hero might have a character that does something like that. Now that I'm
In
thinking
My
about
Hero
it.
Academia,
Yeah,
is that what you're talking
I
about, the
think
anime?
so. Yeah, My Hero Academia. I think they have a hero that kind of does that, but again, it's not the same, but it's close.
It's
But
close.
yeah, oh man, yeah. If you could just eat, depending on what you ate, you got different powers. Now,
Hmm.
would you the now when you break it down though, do you do it by like specific, like exactly the foods, or do you have it like if he eats vegetables, it's something; if he eats meat, it's something; if he eats fruit, it's something?
I feel like you have to break it down into its basic components. Is it mostly sugar? Is it carbohydrates? Is it complex carbs or simple carbs? Is it mostly fiber? Like, what is the
Hmm.
chemical makeup of the food that you know causes the person to be in a different mood, right?
Yeah. So what do you
Because
call that hero though?
I have no idea. That's for the comic book writers, which I am not.
There's some potential here. There's some real
I do love
potential.
how we started with a science talk and now we're totally into comic books and
Science
fantasy.
to superheroes. All us Marvel.
That's right.
We can do it
Um,
better in 15 minutes.
Actually, this talk reminded me of something that happened to you and me a couple of months back, and it makes me think about people and how their mood is affected, and and that we just don't know what someone else is going through, um, and how we can affect other people through a little bit of empathy.
Oh, okay. I was like trying to follow. Like, where are you going? Oh, the dude at the bar.
Huh?
Well, the
Okay,
sushi
so
place. Yeah.
you remember this story, and you and I recounted this like as soon as it happened, and then we talked about it later again, because this was a really interesting thing that happened, I think. So Rodney and I went to a board game convention, which is literally just an entire weekend of you get to play board games. And if you play particular board games, you can sign up to win them at the end of the weekend, sort of like a play to win raffle kind of thing. And we get to meet people and sometimes other game designers and hang out and generally have a good time. Well, this year we went and we were having a fantastic time. And on Saturday, we decided, hey, remember that sushi restaurant we went to last year? Let's go there again because that was amazing and it was great. It was just awesome all around. So we drive down there, walk up to the place, and it's fairly busy, not crazy. But we sign up to get a table. It might be 10-15 minutes or so. No big deal, no problem. um, we get seated outside because it was a nice day and we thought we'd sit outside to have our sushi and appetizers. And if I'm remembering right, it kind of took a while before somebody came out and you know, said anything to us. And it was a guy.
Yeah.
Um, and at first he seemed okay, but he seemed like he was just in a bit of a rush. And that's like, okay, whatever. So he takes our drink order, takes our appetizer order, and then it just seems like everything's taking a really long time. And it took him a long time to come back to ask us for our sushi rolls order. And meanwhile, you kind of notice the other tables are some are getting their food, and then some are just like us, just kind of sitting and waiting around. So while we were waiting, um, I decided to order like an adult beverage, an alcoholic beverage, and I thought it sounded really good. I'm trying to remember the first thing that I ordered that I wanted to try. But anyway, so I ordered this drink off the menu, this cocktail, and he disappears for a long time. Finally comes back with it, and I take one sip, and it tastes really watered down, like there's it just tasted like there's nothing in it. It had no flavor whatsoever.
Yeah, it
And
was
it
not
just
good.
was it was just not good. And Rodney tried it too. Yeah, I was like, Rodney, try
Yeah,
this.
it was not good.
I was like, should I say something? Like, I don't want to drink this. It's not good. And so when he came back, um, I think it was he brought our appetizers out, and I said, hey, like, could I have something else that's not this? And I was gonna go into an explanation, but he just grabbed the cup really quickly and started to run away. And I was like, can I try the watermelon mule? I think it was, or something. And
Yeah.
he stops at the door. He's got his back to us. He stops at the door and like throws his head back and is like, or I remember now. Um, he grabs the cup and just starts walking away. And I was like, oh, can I try something else? And he stops at the door, throws his head back, like, that feeling of, ugh, what do you want? He didn't say that, but that was the feeling. And and so I was like, can I try the watermelon mule thing instead? And he's like, he doesn't look at us, doesn't turn, just keeps facing away and goes, sure, and then goes inside.
Yeah, he was his whole demeanor was very off-putting. And it wasn't
Yeah.
just the walk away. It was like the way he picked up the glass, just the whole way. He was not having it.
Yeah. Yeah. Rodney and I were both noticing that this guy was just not being a very good server, just having some kind of attitude. And I don't know if it's because I had a little bit of booze in me or something, but like, I felt in my brain the thought pass, like, why is this guy being a dick to us? And I think I even said to you, like, this guy's being kind of a dick, and
Yeah, because he
and
was.
I'm,
It
and he
was
was
it
being
was a very much a, like he was dickish, and it wasn't a us thing. Like we weren't being extra. I don't think anybody outside was being extra. So it was very much a, like something's wrong with this dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he wasn't treating other people very well either. Um, so I had this thought pass through my mind, like, this guy's being a real dick. Like, I'm not gonna tip him. I'm gonna be like, I'm just, I'm gonna match that energy. I'm gonna be off putting too. Like, fuck this guy, right? And I took that thought and I let it pass, and then something else came over me, and I was like, I wonder what would happen if I just said, "Hey, man, are you okay?" And I looked at Rodney, and I said this out loud. I was like, I feel like I should say something to him, and I'm wondering if I should just be like, "Hey man, are you okay?" Like, does that sound weird? Does that feel cringe or something? And I don't remember what you said,
So,
but you were
yeah.
encouraging.
No. You asked me. You're like, hey, would it be weird? And are you okay with me asking him if he's okay? And I was like, sure, man, go for it. That was literally. I was like, sure, go for it. No, it won't be weird. Dude.
Yeah. So the dude comes back out, and um he's got the new drink, and he sets it down, and I was like, and he was about to run away, again, and I was like, "Hey
Okay,
man."
he didn't just set it down though. He almost threw it down. Like
Yeah.
it
Like
it
this.
wasn't some nice gentle like here you go. It was like it almost spilled because I slammed it on the table so hard.
Yeah, he was definitely still very like aggro. And so he sets the drink down, and I just look up, and I'm like, "Hey man, are you doing okay?" And I shit you not, that like his entire demeanor changed, and it was like a brick wall that
Instantly.
was in front of his face just fell to pieces, and he just slumped, and he was like, "Nah,
No.
man. No,
It was so
I'm
good.
not."
Cuz yeah, it very much was that. Like it to emphasize the point Ben's making here. Yeah, that the dude like you could tell he had so much weight on his shoulders and Ben just let it go. And he did. He's like, "No." And then he gave us the whole like everything that was going on with him,
that
how
that was the
his
second time he
boss
came back.
was his well, okay, yeah, he
So
did
he
leave and come
right.
back,
So
but
so
like
he so he left. Well, this. I feel like this is important because I want you to tell that part of the story. But so he's just like, no, it's just, it's been a bad night and whatever. And I'm like, well, I appreciate you giving me my drink. We're here to have a good time, and we just wanted to make sure that you're okay, because it just seemed like you weren't having a good time. And he was like, no, 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 and then he left. Later, when he came back, I think this time finally with our food, because everything was just taking forever. And he stops and he leans into me and he goes, "Man, I just want to say thank you for calling me out on."
Yeah.
Like he wanted to express gratitude that I pointed out, that I noticed that he was having this fit of emotion around everyone, and he took some time to think. And then when he came back and he said, thank you for calling me out on that. And then he goes into this explanation of like, here's all the shit I got going on that Rodney was getting into a minute ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Bringing in book bias.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Yeah, no. That's yeah. So and that was he acknowledged that. And yeah, I think it was, I don't know that it was so much about the fit though. Like I think it was also the, like, he just didn't know he did, like, he knew he was in an emotional state, but he didn't notice like how much.
Or how it was affecting other
He was,
people.
yeah. And I think the you asking him about it helped him snap out of it. And that gave him that moment to like process and think about, oh shit, I am in this bad spot. Because yeah, he came back, he said what he said, and then he left, and then he came back, and then he gave us like the whole story, which was,
Right.
he was just having a rough day. His wife was his boss. She was being really bossy. It was just a rough, busy day. The area we were in was a very affluent area, and the people there are all rich, uppity people, so they don't care about people. And it was just a lot. Like, he just had a lot going on, and he just needed a second.
Yeah. And after that, he was a different person. I
Super
can
awesome,
say
yeah.
confidently he was a different person than the person that we met when we got there. And he was attentive, and he was like, "Hey, you guys still doing good?" Like his whole attitude was just completely flipped around. And all it took was one person to go, "Hey, I see you, and I see that you're having a bad time right now."
Yep.
And just for somebody outside your brain to go, "Hey, is your brain doing some shit right now?" And
Yeah.
and for
Like, genuinely, that,
Yeah, and
yeah.
I don't know why that's such a big deal. Uh, I'm makes it sound like I downplay it, but it really is like important, um, as far as like from a community standpoint. It makes it way easier to deal with the shit in our own heads if there's just somebody else there that goes, "Yeah, I get it. That does suck."
You know, I'm gonna take it a little bit in this direction, and it's fine, like it is what it is. But I would also argue, like, when you talk about men specifically, like,
Hmm.
it's not a thing. It's more now, but even now, it's still not. Sometimes the emotional state of men isn't helped enough,
Hmm.
especially when you're talking about in public environments and public places. Men men giving a crap about other men's mental health, especially ones they don't know, is
Hmm.
very rare. So in that, I would almost venture that that was also part of it too. Hey, another dude said, "Hey man, you good?" You know,
Yeah.
and it was like, "Oh shit." Because that coming from a stranger just in general, but a male stranger not going to like cocky or douchey, and instead going to, "You good? Are you okay?" and not in a way that feels dismissive or
Right.
like tearing down, is so rare that I would imagine that it would help, like, it helps a lot of people, like it would, you know, because it gives you an opportunity to go, "Oh shit, yeah, thanks." Like,
Yeah. It diffuses and sort of like Yeah, it throws a wrench into the process that you're normally used to when you're just dealing with the shit by yourself. And gave him the opportunity to stop, think about it, and make the decision like, you know what? I'm gonna deal with this in a different way. And it's funny because when I was subject to, being treated poorly, I had those two choices before me. Do I just snap back, or do I lean into the empathy and recognize this is a human and he's going through something right now. I don't need to be a dick back. Maybe I can create a different outcome just by being, for lack of a better word, a better person than what my first
Right.
instinct was.
Plus, being nice is free, and if he was still dickish after the fact, well, then cool, you can be a dick then, because it doesn't hurt to try. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. If the response to empathy is like anger or defensiveness or something like that, then yeah, then it's gloves off,
I tried.
ding ding, let's go.
Yeah, I tried. I did my best.
Yeah. But I thought about this story, and now that we've talked about the gut to brain connection, I'm like, maybe he was working all day. Maybe he didn't eat, you know.
Those that
Maybe he missed a meal,
that
and he
and
he
that would
just
be
couldn't
even
handle it,
that would be like amplified with the fact you work in a place where you eat.
right? Like you
Like
get
all this
to,
fucking food around me and I can't eat.
right?
Oh man. Yeah, I'd be pissed.
Dude needed a minute and a sushi, and he would have been good.
Oh man. Huh. It's crazy. We're some weird critters. Us
Yeah,
human beings.
yeah. Isn't that why we called this podcast "Amusing Minds"?
Definitely. It's definitely a part of it. Our minds are definitely amusing, if
If
nothing
nothing
else.
else. Jinx.
Which is the the humor in it even more is that our icon's a popsicle that has a bite out of it.
I know. I love it.
I like an ice cream.
Huh?
It's the gut to mind connection.
It is.
We did it without knowing.
We did it.
Ice cream makes me happy.
We have retroactively made our branding important to what we talk about.
Dang right. Hey, sometimes the accidental what are they what is it called? When something happens like accidentally but it works perfectly.
Serendipitous.
Yeah, that is the correct word, not the word I was looking for though, but it works. There's another word for it. Might have to figure that one out. It's like coinky dink or like uh yeah, serendipity works, I guess. Now I have a word in my head.
Uh
This is another one of those dumb parts of your brain. The fact that you can remember that you forgot something, but you can't remember what you forgot.
huh.
Or you can know that you know something, but you can't remember what it is that you know. That, because there's a word that I want, and it's in here somewhere rattling around, but I can't get it to project to the front of the screen. Oh, brains.
Just have a Snickers, Rodney.
I might do that after we're done.
So,
Might get a Snickers.
food advertisement. Snickers. You're not you when you're hungry.
Dude, yeah. Holy cow. Exactly.
You've told stories in
They
the
know.
past about, marketing experts tend to understand people even better than people that are supposed to understand people in their profession.
Yeah.
Their patterns of behavior, their patterns of thought. And so this got me thinking about food advertisements. What was the last food advertisement that you think worked on you? Like, you saw an advertisement for a food something and you were like, yeah, I need that, I gotta have it.
Ooh. Ooh, that's a good one. Huh. See, here's the thing though. Food advertisements in a weird way, they work for me, but not normally for that brand sometimes. Like, I might see a pizza commercial and be like, oh, I want pizza now. I'm not getting the pizza that was shown on the screen, but I'm getting pizza. Or like Like soda, same thing. Sodas, I think, would do that. I'm trying to think of some commercials now that effectively food commercials that might have helped me get there, if you will.
Okay, I'll tell
Um,
you mine.
yeah.
So when Taco Bell first came out with the French fries, they had never had
Okay.
fries before, and it was the very first time. And as far as how I watch advertisements, I'm not really much of a YouTube guy, so I don't get a lot of like advertisement videos. What I see is picture ads in on like the Facebook feed and stuff like that.
Okay.
And
Yep.
so the first time I saw it, it was a picture of the seasoned fries at Taco Bell with like the cheese dipping cup. And I like fries. I really like fries, and I like good fries. And I know who's got good fries, and we should make that a topic for a future podcast. Who's
A
got the
whole
best
episode about
fries?
fries. Got it.
Yes. Um, but as soon as I saw that, I remember thinking and feeling like I've got to get to Taco Bell. I need to try these because it's something I've never seen before. It's a variation on something I already like, and
Right.
they put the whole limited time thing on it where they're like it's not going to be around for
Oh,
long,
yeah.
so you
FOMO.
better try it before it's gone. And so it was just like, well, shit, it's like $2. I need to get to Taco Bell and try this shit. And of course, it's amazing. I love the fries there when they have them, and they kind of come and
Yeah.
go. Just but yeah, that was an advertisement that definitely worked on me recently.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah. I can't pinpoint one, but I know that they get me hungry. Like food advertisements, if I'm even kind of there, they can definitely sway on what I want to eat next. That's for sure.
When I was a
And then you
kid,
have like levels to that.
at
I was
levels.
gonna say you have levels to that. As far as like you have screen advertisements, but then you also have places that do it like through a lot of other ways. Like movie theaters, the most obvious example.
Hmm.
The popcorn, if they're doing it right, is fresh, but it's not for the freshness of the popcorn. It's so you smell it and you associate it with the theater, and you want to get a bucket of popcorn, and
Hmm.
then you're just gonna, yeah, that's the whole thing. Like
Yeah.
they're doing it subliminally or very like there. And then there's like bakeries. I forget the chain. There was a food place, like a grocery store or something. They would pump uh, fresh bread smells.
Hmm.
Yeah, like stuff like that. Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
man.
because they know your olfactory senses will can connect straight to that craving of something that you like. When I was a kid, the food commercials that I remember most about being a kid is breakfast cereals and peanut butter and
Interesting.
Reese's, especially
Huh.
the Halloween commercials for Reese's. Like I remember them vividly. And to this day, like one of my favorite things is peanut butter, and I love Reese's. That's like one of my favorite candies. And I have
Huh.
to wonder,
Didn't know that.
is that because I grew up, watching these advertisements and connecting with them the most, and so I ate those more often as a kid? And of course breakfast cereals, man, breakfast cereal commercials back in the day, like were kind of nuts. And um
Oh yeah.
yeah, every time there was a new cereal commercial, I was like, Mom, we got to get that one. Like we got to have that, or Pop Tarts, or oh man, the Capri Sun commercials. Like,
Yeah. Capri Sun, Airheads, Fruit by the Foot. Oh freaking
mhm.
yeah. There were some bangers. There's some bangers. We should do a whole session where we go look up old commercials. Like
And
it's
do some reactions.
oh yeah. Yeah. We each bring like 20 commercials to the table.
Yeah, that
You
would
go
fill our
get food
time.
commercials, I'll get like old toy commercials or something.
Oh man.
Oh, that could be
I
fun.
guess it should be primarily 90s. Because I
But
feel
yeah.
like that's what we're going to remember the most for sure.
Well, I mean, I think it'd be interesting to explore even some that we haven't seen or don't know, like seeing like fresh, kind of fresh eyes, like, wow, this is interesting, and analyzing like what is their objective?
Hmm.
How does this make me feel?
Hmm.
And then is it working?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a deeper analysis that could happen with those commercials and why they work. But yeah, as far as food goes, like I don't eat cereal anymore, but I know if I bought some, I would just eat the crap out of it because because that stuff tastes amazing, but is horrible for me.
Yeah, I mean
It's just
it's
a bunch of
human dog
sugar.
food. That's what it is. I mean, when you think about it, it is. It's human
Yeah,
dog food. Although there is a, I gotta remember the cereal company, but there is a cereal company that makes like cereal that's like that, but it's like super healthy. But it tastes like, or it's supposed to taste like old cereal style stuff. Like I'll have to find the brand. I know they
yeah,
sponsor YouTube channels and stuff.
that's cool.
But yeah, yeah, I hear they're pretty good. So I don't know. I haven't tried them, but something to look into.
I have a theory on a food commercial that might have worked on you
Ooh,
because I know you like Mr. Beast and I know you've had the Mr. Beast bar before.
100%.
And
Yeah,
is that because it is it because it is the Beast bar? Like why did you want
yeah.
to try it?
I 100% tried it because Mr. Beast, like, there's a lot about it. I mean, honestly, like, it wasn't even about the candy to try it. It was to support Mr. Beast more so than to
Hmm.
try the candy. The candy just happened to also be good. Well, the second iteration of the Mr. Beast bars, because the first Mr.
Oh,
Beast candy bars were garbage for American
really?
consumers. Oh yeah, they were not good, and I know why. Because like Americans like our stuff sweeter, so their chocolate was very like cocoa, like it
Hmm.
wasn't sugary at all. um so like the dark, if people like dark chocolate, they might have liked their dark chocolate stuff, but like it wasn't good. And that's why they repackaged and rebranded it completely. If you paid attention, like they had the originally they had like oranges and blues, but it was like predominantly like more oranges, yellows. It was like brighter, different color skews. And then after they redid it, they went to the blue packaging, the pink text, um,
Hmm.
because they had to completely rebrand it. Because the flavor, like people did not like it. It wasn't just me; it was a lot of people didn't like the first iteration. But
Yeah.
they bought it to support Mr. Beast, so he went back to the drawing board and basically found out that people didn't like it. Um, yeah, and his new bars are good now. And there's also other stuff that like I've learned about it. It is arguably the most ethically sourced chocolate that is sourced. Like it's not just because Mr. Beast, as much as people love or hate him, he did go the extra mile. Like he went to the places where they were using child labor and they were doing it because they had low income and figured out like why. So he tried to make it to where they get paid more. And he tried to build schools in that area so kids could go to school, but also make it to where the factory workers could afford to like not have their children working with them if they worked at the factories. So it's not just about the chocolate, you
Yeah.
know. There's layers to it. And like some people do know that, some people don't. Like he talks about it a little bit sometimes, but I feel like some people have no idea how much effort he goes into to try to make it right as much as you can in this capitalist dystopia that we live in kind of thing. It's
Yeah, I
like,
mean, as I mean, I'm one of those people that doesn't really know anything about Mr. Beast. I don't follow any of his stuff. I've never watched any of his videos. So yeah, I wouldn't know any of that. From an outside perspective, it just looks like, oh, it's the biggest YouTuber on the planet making a candy bar. You know, whoop de doo. He's just, you know, he wants to make money in candy. All right, whatever. You know,
yeah,
but it is, yeah, it's interesting that
there's a
he.
whole, it it's not this episode, but that's another episode. We could have a whole conversation about people who have a massive amount of wealth, and then when they try to use that wealth to help others, whether it's for gain or not, because Mr. Beast gets a lot of that too. Like he has a whole channel called Mr. Beast Philanthropy, but like the YouTube videos make money and he uses that money to help people. But the stuff that he makes the videos about, some people are like, well, that's exploitative because, these people have to be part of the video to get this life changing or altering surgery. So who's really benefiting? And it's like, oh, that's
And that is a great preview for our next episode, which is titled "Should Billionaires Exist?" Yeah, that'll be a fun one.
yeah. Let's do a quick recap. Your tummy can affect your brain, so keep all your meat sacks happy.
Yeah.
Meat sack heroes would be cool. And, and then what was the other? How do we go? Let's see. I'm trying to follow our thought
empathy.
process.
Empathy goes a long way in making someone else's day complete, like so much better than it was. You could save someone with a little bit of empathy.
Make sure your meat sack is happy so you can care about other people's meat sacks.
Oh yes, take care of yourself first. We didn't talk about that in depth, but
Yeah.
yes, take care of yourself first, and have a proper diet. And by proper, who the fuck knows what that is? But feed yourself
For
well
you. Have a
and
proper
pay
diet
attention.
for you.
Yeah, pay attention to what
Yeah.
your body does when you eat it, and if it puts you in a good place, puts you in a productive place, then be like, all right, yeah, that's good diet. And if you eat stuff and it makes you feel like crap, don't eat that stuff. Food and food advertisements are definitely effective. What was a food commercial from your childhood or even recently that convinced you to buy a food related product? Let us know in the
Yeah,
comments
share that
below.
in the comments below. Hey, if you have links to the videos, that'd be cool too. If you can find them.
Oh yeah.
Because maybe we'll use that on one of our episodes. We'll watch through them and see what happens.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. All right, cool. Now we're going to get our outro. Make sure you like, subscribe, and do all the things that you do. I'm Rodney. He's Ben, and this has been Amusing Minds.
Talk to you next time.